G'day, and welcome to Graves in Australia Diecast Salvage. No, don't need to make any adjustments to your screen because we have Breaker 19. I think we have a convoy. Well, it's a convoy of such. Now, how many of us have this in our little boxes? Many of them. And, of course, they're all missing the side hut. So, let's see if we can do some rectification work. So, we have some regular wheels and we have some Superfast wheel versions of the side hut truck. But we only have one side hut. So, we'll take it off our turntable here and we'll have a closer look at them. So now that the round turntable has been moved, we can have a closer look at these vehicles. This is the very good condition side hut truck itself. I'm not doing anything with this one because it only has a minor flea bite on the back there. But that's just about it. One on the wheel arch there, but that's fine. The bumper corners are intact. Got good chrome, good glass, and of course here we have the side hut. Now this one's not perfect. It is got a crack there. Comes in two parts, but it is there. So that one we're putting to one side. That one we're not touching. But here we have four others. We have two regular wheels and two Superfast wheels. One. I don't know if the camera is picking this up, but we have different shades of blue. Alright, so this goes to some rivet counters out there that thankfully they haven't come to my channel, but a lot of the people that do restorations back to so-called original, they can only give a close match to the vehicle that they've got. If you look at a photograph on Google Images or things like that, you'll only ever get a close match because the camera will take, depending on your camera, will interpret the colour differently. But here we have three of the same vehicles, and they're all a slightly different shade of the blue, because we don't know when or what part of the painting stage it came in. Did it come in on first thing on Monday morning with a new batch of paint? Did it come in about lunchtime? Did it come in on Friday afternoon when everybody was going home? We don't know. So the thing, if you're doing colour matching, try and match it to the colour of the vehicle that you've got in front of you, not of what's on the internet. Eyes will play tricks on you, and so will the camera. So just be aware of that. But those that have been on my channel for some time know that I don't do back to factory restorations. I mainly do customs. Well, I call them customs. You get different paint jobs. Right? Sometimes we try and achieve a close match. If I have the paint handy, if I don't, well, it becomes a different colour. Right? So that's the beauty about these, my cars, is that they're mine. I can do whatever I like with them. I'm just showing you my process. and give you ideas as to what you can do with yours. Right, so if you are a restorer and you want to get it back to how it came out from the factory or close to, right, it can never be exact. It can only be close to. Right, as I said, take the colour of the vehicle that you currently have. If I only had the one vehicle like this one, which has hardly got any paint on it, there's a little scrap of paint just up there, and you've got underneath to sort of go by. So they're your articles that you can go with. At any rate, enough waffling. Let's get on with taking a closer look. All right. So as we just saw, this one's in very well loved condition. Hardly any paint on it. Wheels are all good, which is a good thing. Glass is in a okay condition, but it does have the corners missing on the front bumpers. This one again is a regular wheels. Has some paint chips. It's not too bad. Glass is in good condition. Has all four wheels, but its bumper corners are intact. Superfast. Not too bad. Bit of chrome missing off the grill. Bit of paint chipping on the corners. But in not too bad a condition. Glass is good. When you consider these things are 50 odd years old, if not more, so they're still in relatively, or rather, good condition. Good window, good corners, not too bad. This might be another one that I might just leave as it is, because we might just paint, we just might paint the flatbed on this one. Don't know. We'll see how we go. Right, and as you can see here, again, it's a different shade of blue to what the other ones are. See, those two might be just a case of painting the flatbeds for a makeover. Don't know. You'll have to watch and see, or you can skip to the end and you'll find out. Right, but definitely this one's getting an all-over makeover. So, all right, let's take these apart, and we'll see you in that scene. All right, so I've gone with the burr tool, like I usually do, to take the mushroom heads off the post. On the regular wheels, it has two posts, one at the end and one in the middle. Go back in there, you're not ready yet. And on the Superfast version, there's only the post at the back. So now that the regular wheels wants to be in a hurry, I mean it's in a real hurry. Yeah. Thank you. All right, sorry for the. There we go. All right, let's get back in there. Now I was in a hurry. As mentioned, two posts, one in the back, one in the middle. Lift it up and you pull it back slightly. That will bring out the front end out. If you want to take the wheels off, you'll have to grind them off at the ends. Like the mushroomed heads off, and go there. Plastic base. Underneath that, while you have the middle post, is the suspension. And this one needs to go into some hot water to bend them around the right way. Again, it's kind of banana shaped. So, but I'll need to file off the top end to get that out. But we'll see if we can't get it out behind the scene. Try not to break it. No, I'm going to do it behind the scenes. I'm going to file down that mushroom head so it's nice and flat, and go from there. Hang on, I've got the files here, Michael. I've got the files here. So just using some jeweler's files. Just take the head off a little bit more, make it nice and flat, because a lot of people will drill, but you risk the going through the whole thing. The screen came out, which is nice. Yeah. All right. I'll get the burr tool again, just go a little bit further, and we'll do that off camera. Now with the Superfast, held in by the post in the back, and a tab on the front. So again, just lift up at the back, and pull back. Still a plastic base. With this one, to get the wheels out, just pinch these tabs back a little bit, and that piece here will fall out, and you can save your wheels. Window unit should just fall out, and it does. It is a bluey colour, and again the slightly different shade of tinge that I can see here. You may not see it on camera. There you will. And it's not because it's dirty. So even there you'll see that it's two different colours. Alright, I'll put them there. I'll take that suspension out off camera, and we'll go to the next scene. So, excuse me. So we'll do a bit of a discussion regarding 3D printing or files that you might be able to get from the internet if you don't design yourself. And what's a sight hut with sight hut truck without its sight hut? It's just a flatbed lorry. So we've got plenty of those, but we need to get those. I went on to Yegi, typed in Matchbox replacement parts, and I came up with a site from Thingiverse that you can download of the site hut. And this was in the so back in September of 2024. So we're now in near the end of February 2025. So this has been a fair amount of time in the making. And the first file, the free file that downloaded, I thought, you beaut, that looks great. The only problem with, and that's a user error, is the curve at the ends of the roof. My apologies for knocking you around there. Mainly because I was not putting in enough supports, or the supports weren't big enough to hold it flat. That was fine until I compared it to the original hut. Let's just take the roof out of the equation. That's the free file that you can download from Thingiverse. The file itself, nothing wrong with it, and I'm happy that the designer came up with it. Saves me having to do it. It's just like the reproduction parts that you get from Recover Toy, Steve Flowers, model car parts, things like that. It's nice that somebody else has started doing that. Very nice. So this now what you have to do now is, well, are you going to be happy with that on the back of your truck? So that's the original side hut. Once painted up, and you had the correct roof, and if nobody else knew any better, that would be fine, right? Because it's only going to be a static display. In my case, it's not something that's going to be played with anymore. It's a static display, most likely go on a diorama eventually, but I wasn't quite happy with that. So I went into the slicing program. I resized it slightly, and again we'll just use the hut part of it, and I was able to make it a little bit bigger, but still not the right height. So later on I started getting more experienced in the 3D printing and using the slicing program. I was able to make it a little bit bigger. So we're almost at the right height. We're at the right width, almost at the right height. But I was still having problems with the roof. That's why we haven't got it here. And then I started again with the supports having the problems. It was starting to curl up. I then found, and actually, so I spent a little bit of money and bought a bunch of Matchbox Lesney parts file and played again. And this one came out much better in that it's the right width and the length, but a little bit too tall. But the roof part was excellent. All right, so that wasn't too bad. All right, but again, when you can by itself, it looks good. But if you have a fleet of them, it looks slightly out of place, being that tall. So again, since I've had the experience in adjusting the size, in January of this year, when I started revisiting the side hut truck again, resized it, made it a little bit smaller in height I kept the width and the length, just reduced it in height, just slightly. It wasn't too bad. See, that was 18th of January. And then I said, okay, we did a print. And then we made another print the following day. And we have it there. We have the right size, the right width, right length. It looks good. The designer that did this file has put 1, 2, 3 boards above the window, where on the original it is one and a bit, and on the model that I've resized, or the paid for STL file, we've got 1, 2, 3 slats above, but I can live with that. I'm happy with that, as Marty from Matchbox Makeovers would say. I'm happy with that. So I'm now going to show you the differences in the two files. Again, the free version is pretty much correct above the window. When you look at it like that, but the pike or the peak is not as sharp, and you'll see that in the file itself when we look at them. So let's go over to the computer and we'll do the setup on our files to be printed, our huts to be printed. These are prototypes, which is fine. They can go in a diorama. Again, so they can be abandoned or sheds or whatever. It's not wasted, even though they, so not going on the back of the truck, but they can be used for something else. All right, I'll get you over to the computer and we'll start doing our 3D printer setup. All right, how you go about getting what are called STL files for your 3D printer. Best place to go to is Yegi, and up the top here in its search bar I've typed in Matchbox Lesney Site Hut, and of course it picks up everything that's related to Matchbox. So there's plenty of stuff out there. Right, now the first time I went round I found this one. It's on Thingiverse and it's free, and being a tight ass that I am, of course I went there. That's the file, and he shows pictures of it, which is nice, and he shows it on his hut. Now, by the looks of things, he's printed it with a PLA printer. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't spoken to Blues Dude. He's the designer. He has a description. I'm making a replacement parts for Matchbox restorations. Some of you have asked for the STL files. Here you go. He had to design from pictures and size of model. I had nothing to go by. It could be approved upon. All right. Printer brand was Mono Price. Printer Mini, rafts, yes. Supports, yes. 2mm infill at 25%. So he says filament brand, so he did do it on a PLA printer. All right. And things like that. Now, he has created other designs. So he has the cement mixer, or its barrel. He has the Matchbox case tractor, the side hut, of course, the Fiat 1500 luggage I've downloaded and used. If you watched the earlier video, was quite good. The Safari, the Matchbox Safari, I've used that one, came out quite good. He has this scaffolding for the scaffolding truck, the fire tender he has. This is for the red Ford pickup, the TV van, and of course Tojo. I haven't downloaded or used the others besides the site hut and the 2 luggage racks. I have downloaded the files that I would like to use, which is the scaffolding truck, the Ford pickup canopy, and the Tojo. I've downloaded those files, but I haven't printed them off yet. But that's beside the point. So, and the other thing that I've done is with Yegi, I'll go back into here, found another site from Yegi, but this is what you pay for. You pay for it. There's 34 files. Right, and goes from the site hut, Fiat 1500, Land Rover Safari, Volvo truck, Ford pickup, Volkswagen camper, the boat and trailer, number 9D, the DAF tipper, cattle truck, horse box, Mercedes-Benz truck, container truck, fire pumper, Unimog, all of those. There's 32 items in there. That is what's in the files. Out of those 32 items, there's about 10 currently at the moment that I will not be using. Not to say that I can't use them, but I wanted to do a comparison. And the comparison which I've done is with the site hut, with the paid version here, and the one that from Blues Dude, and that's what I showed you earlier. All right, in this case, the paid for version came out much better after resizing. Not, there's good points and bad, but again, it comes to how well you know your slicing program and resizing. That's what it comes down to. And saying that, let's go and have a look at the files that these two have. So I'll bring you back when I'm ready with the slicing program. Okay, now I'll show you the differences between the two files, the free file and a paid for file. So we'll go to the free file. No, that's not the free file. That's the free file. First, that's from Blues Dude. And it looks rather good as it is. The issue that I found, for me, that's me personally, is that to try and resize it, you really have to guess as to what to do, because you can't select an individual component. It's either all or nothing. All right. And you can see here on our roof part here, goes up at an angle, flat, and then goes down. When you look at the original, it's got a pitch to it. All right. Nothing wrong with the file. To print it off as it is, go to your heart's content. All right. So that's that one. Now if we look at our This is the original file. Nice sharp pike or peak, if you like, on there. As you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3 layers above the window, and the roof is separate. So it's very easy to resize should you need to. That's the good thing about that particular file. Now, I've resized it twice, and I believe that this is the one that I was happy with. The roof part of it I didn't have to resize. It was this part, the hut itself, that I resized, and I did the slicing and everything else to it, and I have then saved the file. So all I need to do is copy that to my thumb drive, and all I need to do is print it off. I don't have to go into the slicing program as such, because I've saved it as a file that my 3D printer understands. All I need to do is print it off. So that's just a quick thing regarding the free versions and the paid for version. It depends on what you're looking at. We'll say yes to that. Close that down. Close that down. And I'm going to save that. I am going to save that site hut file, the resized one, and print off on my printer, because I am needing some huts. So we'll see you in a moment. This is just a reminder of the convoy that I'd started with at the beginning of this episode. And here we are now. Here is our convoy of our Matchbox regular and Superfast wheels site hut trucks. The one coming around now is original, untouched, with the original site hut. This vehicle is supporting a 3D printed site hut. As you can see, I had to resize it down to the original size. The same thing with this one. So the original site hut reduced from the file that I had. This is a Superfast that we've repainted, and this is carrying a weighbridge hut. This one here is the regular wheels. Again, we've resized it to match our vehicles. Unlike the original, if you tilt it, that is what happens. With my ones, will not fall off the back on any of them. They're all rollers. So I've only had 2 failed prints, which is not too bad considering. I thoroughly enjoyed doing this one, so I hope you did too. And we'll catch you next time in Gravesend, Australia, Diecast Salvage.